Teacher, what is the difference between dirt and earth?
Between what?
Between dirt and earth. Like the child and a child. What's the difference?
Oh, because you could say we found a child, but it wouldn't be a child who was lost for 5 days. The child means it's a child we know. This child was missing for 5 days. If all of us were just taking a walk in the forest, we could find a child. We don't know who it is. It's just we found a child. But if I say we found the child, that's a particular child. That's the child we were looking for. The child was lost for 5 days. See the difference?
Okay.
That's a good question, though, Prop. That's the difference in a and the. If I say we found the book we were looking for, the book means we know what book it was. We were looking for a book, now we found the book. But if I just found a book, any book, not the book I was looking for, I just found a book. I don't know whose it is. If I say the book, it's a book we know about. Gao, okay? Okay, so let's please open to page 35. Now this reading is getting more and more difficult. More and more difficult. So we take it slowly and ask any questions. So first, let's review. Let's review. Remember, read always means again. If we review something, we go over it again. So let's review a little bit what we have been reading about before 35. We started to read about a particular city in South America where they're doing the right things in the environment so that they don't have a polluted environment. Then we began to read about pollution. Pollution in the city and pollution inside a building. On page 34, we started to read about the sick building syndrome. Now, good morning.
Good morning. Do you have a book for me?
Yes. And is this another? Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This
is when you read.
So, Nadi, would you please begin by telling us, what did we learn, what causes a building to be sick? Why do we say this is a sick building?
Sick building syndrome.
Yeah, why would a building be considered a sick building?
People, pollution speaking from activity people.
Yes. Okay, there's pollution inside the building and in the air. And what are some of the things that causes pollution inside the building? Anybody? Anything?
Leak of ventilation.
Yes, very good, Prabh. That's the biggest thing, a lack of ventilation. Prabh, what is ventilation?
Ventilation is
Okay, let's go and look, because they tell us here,
the fresh air
Yes, that's very good, Robert. I was looking for, yes, if you're not getting fresh air into a building, you don't have ventilation. You have to get air into a building. Sometimes windows are shut closed. Sometimes if you don't clean out an air conditioner, you can get pollution through the air conditioner. Okay, all right, let's look at paragraph B for a minute. Paragraph B.
Chemical.
Okay, go to the third sentence, recent studies. Would you read that there? Recent studies.
Column B.
Paragraph B.
Paragraph B. Read or
บรรทัดที่
ฮะ
3บรรทัดที่ 3 recent
Recent study have shown that air inside many homes, office buildings, and schools is full of pollutant.
Now notice there's a colon after pollutants. That colon means now they're going to list the pollutants. And Bear, continue please.
Chemicals, mold, bacteria, smoke, and gases. These pollutants are causing a group of unpleasant and dangerous symptoms. The expert called sick building syndrome.
Good, okay, thanks Bear. And I think I didn't explain syndrome correctly the other day because sick building syndrome means you have a whole big combination of symptoms, okay, of sick building. All right, Bear, why don't you go down to first discovered in 1982. Same paragraph. Last sentence. In paragraph.
First discovered in 1982. Sick building syndrome most often include symptoms similar to those of the flu, water eyes, headache, and so on, and respiratory infections such as tonsillitis, bronchitis, and pneumonia.
Good. Okay, so anytime we see respiratory, we know we're talking about the area of the lungs, breathing. And we know an infection is something bad that gets into the system. So you can have an infection, just cut your arm and have an infection, or an infection in your lungs. And that's where they tell us about tonsillitis, bronchitis, and pneumonia. Now the word symptom is very important because it's used in many ways. If you go to the doctor and you think you're sick, he wants to know what your symptoms are. So what would you say symptoms means? In your own words.
Thyroid.
No, not in your own Thai words, in your own English words.
It's a
Yeah, good.
Show inside.
It's what shows on the outside what we're thinking, but we don't know what it is inside. So if I say to a doctor, I have watery eyes, I'm sneezing all the time, and I'm totally tired, I'm telling him my symptoms. I don't know what I have. Now maybe he examines me, maybe I have flu, maybe I have pneumonia. Symptoms are what I can tell him. Clear? Even if you go, suppose somebody goes to a psychiatrist or a psychologist for help, you will also give your symptoms. If you say to a doctor, I'm always depressed. I'm always depressed. I always feel bad. That's a symptom. That's not what's wrong. It's my symptom. He may be, a psychiatrist or psychologist will find out why I am depressed. Depression is the symptom. Clear? Okay, very important. All right, now, we're going to go, we were up to the top of page 35. Now, what you can look for here in these paragraphs, class, they have many words that are defined within the sentence. So, I'll tell you when we get to them, but I want you to be looking for how you can find a definition, not by using the dictionary, but because it's in the sentence. So I guess we'll have to read paragraph C from the beginning to get to where we were on Friday. So why don't you begin reading C, Gal. Right. Oh, so although most common, buildings,
building and schools, indoor
pollution,
that can also
occur
audience in the house,
in houses. Imagine, typical,
home. The people who
live there,
work or guest for cooking and
heating,
them might smoke
cigarettes, pipes,
or
cigars,
they use
chemicals
for heating, they use
products,
more of make
particle board,
boards, which in
expensive
kind of
board,
not more of very small price of would held together which
chemical. Okay, Gal, thanks very much. Now remember we said last week, most furniture these days is made that way. It has, we call the top a veneer that looks like wood, and underneath all of this particle board. The bad thing is that the particle board is held together with a chemical. All right, please continue reading, Young.
They use products such as computers, fax machines, and copiers that are made of plastic. These products give off chemicals that we can't see, but we do breathe them in. In some homes, carbon monoxide from cars in the garage can enter the house, and in many areas, the ground under the building might send a dangerous gas called radon into the home. The people in the house are breathing in a chemical soup.
Good. Now, would you please, in a sentence, even in your own words, tell me what this last paragraph tells us. It has to do with inside the house. And what's the main idea of that paragraph?
The people who live in the house burn oil, wood, or gas for cooking and heating.
Yes, okay, so in other words, that many products in the house, any products in the house can cause sick building right inside of our homes. This radon that they mentioned here, people can die from that. I don't think that happens a lot, but it can. You know, I think we mentioned this before, that in many homes in the Western world, the garage is attached to the house. You often open the kitchen door and then you're in the garage. So that carbon monoxide from that garage can go right into the house. In fact, right into the kitchen. Very common. Okay, so, and now D, begin reading.
Then what causes sick building syndrome?
Excuse me, Didi?
No, she asked. He asked, teacher.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Didi. Thanks. Okay, yes, Prof.
Yes, first.
That's first.
Comical soup.
Oh, okay. Now you know what soup is. You know soup. So if you put a whole lot of different vegetables in, we say vegetable soup. So they're just saying here, all of these, how they put it, the people in the house are breathing in the soup. All these different chemicals are mixing together, and we're breathing them in. So they don't mean soup like you buy in the store and eat. You know? Okay. They're just saying it's like a chemical soup and we're breathing it in. Okay? All right, try.
Then what causes sick building syndrome in an office building or school? Where people don't smoke or burn oil, wood or gas. Experts have discovered several sources of sick building syndrome. Among these are mold and bacteria, synthetic products, and lack of ventilation or the movement of fresh air into and out of the building.
Excuse me, Prab. Right there, they gave you a definition. Prab, they gave you the definition of lack of ventilation. What is it?
The movement of fresh air
Into
and out of the building.
Good. All right, continue.
In many buildings, rain has leaked in and caused water damage to walls and carpets. This allows mold and bacteria to grow. Air conditioning systems are another place where mold and bacteria can grow. Synthetic, that is man-made.
Excuse me, what does synthetic mean?
Made by the people.
Just,
Made by man.
you know, yeah, man-made. I wanted to point out to you that many of these definitions are right here. Synthetic is a very important word in English. We say polyester is a synthetic material. Cotton is not. Man-made. So synthetic, man-made. Okay, continue, Prof.
Synthetic, that is man-made. Products such as paint, carpeting, and furniture can be found in all offices and schools. These products release toxic, poisonous chemicals into the air. Perhaps the most common cause of sick building syndrome, however, is lack of ventilation. Most modern office buildings are tightly sealed. In other words, the windows don't open, so fresh air that doesn't enter the building. In a building with mold, bacteria, or toxic chemicals, lack of ventilation makes the situation more serious.
Good. All right, class. So there they gave us a number of definitions. Synthetic is man-made. Toxic means poisonous. They have in parentheses. most modern buildings are tightly sealed. In other words, windows don't open. So they tell us what tightly sealed means.
Tightly sealed.
Yeah, sealed tight, can't open. No.
Sealed mean what?
Okay. When I put this on here, I seal the top, sealed, so nothing gets in or out, sealed.
Sealed.
But tightly sealed means if I can't open the top, it's too tightly sealed. But I close a window, no place for any air to get in or out. Sometimes you close a window, but there's a little opening. If it's tightly sealed, no air. You know, I never knew in my cell class how serious this mold situation is. But a few years ago, I think I mentioned this to you, one of my nieces has 3 small children. And when her husband came home, his eyes kept watering and they hurt. And they didn't know what it was. And what they found out was that their house was full of mold. And the way they got mold is that on the 2nd floor there was a bathroom, and there's a space between floors, and water got in here. And that's what caused the mold. And so the mother, father, 3 kids had to move out of the house and take out the ceiling, take up all the floors, everything. It was awful. For about a week, they had to tear the whole place apart. So mold is getting very, very serious.
For tightly sealed, I ever do in before.
Again, from?
Tightly sealed. Before I don't know that it can cause of this. Like
Yeah, because it's tightly. You always have to have air get into a building. Yeah.
before, and I always close the window. So my friend tell that it's not good because the sunshine cannot come in. And
So you close the window where you live?
yes,
And Pratt, is it tightly sealed?
yes.
Oh, wow. So your friend tells you, leave it open a little, right? Yeah, you should always leave open a little.
Before I always headache because I close the window.
And you had a headache?
Headache.
So when you opened the window, headache went away?
Yes, it's okay.
Ah, very good. Okay.
Pardon the time. What's this mean? Perhaps the most common cause of six building syndrome, however, is lack of ventilation.
Okay, just what Pra mentioned about this building, it says lack of ventilation. Notice, it then has a dash, lack of ventilation, or the movement of fresh air into and out of the building. In other words, Pra, if you don't have fresh air coming in and going out, that's the worst thing that can happen.
Is ventilation.
Ventilation, lack of ventilation. People will say in English, open the window, we need some ventilation. We don't have much ventilation in this room, but that's because we have the air conditioner on. And that's another problem that people have, which they tell us later on, that the air conditioners have to be cleaned because you can get mold through the air conditioner. Here's our air conditioner. Okay. So, probably read the next paragraph.
There are several solutions to the problem of six building syndrome. The most important of these is cleaning the building. First, of course, expert must determine the specific cause in one building. Then workers probably need to take out carpets, wallpaper, and ceiling tiles in order to remove mold and bacteria. Also, they need to clean out the air conditioning system and completely rebuild the system of ventilation. They should remove synthetic products and bring in natural instead if they are available.
Okay, notice that last sentence, they should remove synthetic, man-made products and bring in natural products if they are available. All right, so this last paragraph, can someone please tell me the main idea of this last paragraph?
Is the solution of the sick building syndrome by remove all the carpets, wallpaper and ceiling tiles to remove mold and bacteria, and the clean air conditioning.
That's it, Paul, that sums it up. You really just have to remove everything in the room
Yes.
and clean out the air conditioner too. Yeah, it's a really big deal.
The system of ventilation.
Yes, yes, the system of air coming in and out. All right, before we go to the next one, any question? Okay, let's go to 36. I'll read this paragraph and then you will read it. All of this sounds difficult and expensive, but there is another possible solution that is simple and inexpensive. NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, was trying to find ways to clean the air in space stations. One scientist with NASA discovered that houseplants actually remove pollutants from the air. Certain plants seem to do this better than others. Spider plants, for example, appear to do the best job. Even defoliated plants, which they define for us without leaves, worked well. In another study, scientists found that the chemical interaction among soil, roots, and leaves works to remove pollutants. So I think a lot of people kind of notice that having plants in the house always helps with, but of course if you have mold in your house, all the plants in the world aren't going to get rid of it. I mean, this is good for everyday living, but if you have a big problem, plants can't solve it. Okay, so Dee Dee, would you read that paragraph?
All of this sounds difficult and expensive, but there is another possible solution that is simple and inexpensive. NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, was trying to find ways to clean the air in space stations. One scientist with NASA discovered that houseplants actually remove pollutants from the air. Certain plants seem to do this better than other. Spider plants, for example, appear to do the best job. Even defoliated plants without leaves work well. In another study, scientists found that the chemical interaction among soil, roots, and ribs work to remove pollutions.
Good, good. All right, could somebody sum up in a sentence what this paragraph is about?
Okay, the previous texts they said that those systems were quite difficult and very expensive, and later NASA, the scientists, they found a way that is not inexpensive, and this is the planting that some defoliated plants should be planted in the home that could remove the pollution.
Very good, Pride, exactly, excellent. That, there is also a simple and inexpensive way to discover 2 new balloons from the home houseplants. Thank you. What is it? Oh, it's your phone. Sorry. Stevie's phone sounds like a cat. Okay, very good, Pride. All right, and the last paragraph I'll read and then you will read.
Sure.
Yes. Oh, excuse me.
Default, the plant, it's the name of the plant before you.
Oh, no. I want you to see that part. They told us what defoliated means. Parentheses, without leaves. They're saying even if a plant has no leaves, it's still good. It's still helpful to get rid of pollutants. Because they have here, look at even defoliated plants, parentheses, without leaves. So they're telling us defoliated means without leaves. So even if a plant has no leaves, it can still be helpful.
Here they say science found that the chemical interaction among soil groups. It means the interaction, the soils, roots, and leaves.
Yeah, and here it shows you in that little illustration, soil, roots, and leaves. However they interact, which I don't understand, something chemical or something in nature, that however they interact, that it works to remove pollutants.
Even it just has the roots, it can also remove the pollutants.
Even if it's, they said even if it's defoliated, the leaves are gone. So the bottom line, Pride, is in addition to opening your window, you should put a plant in your room. Okay. Last G. This seems like a good solution, but we don't know enough yet. There are many questions. For instance, which pollutants can plants remove? Which can't they remove? How many plants are necessary to clean the air in a room? 1 or 2 or a whole forest of plants? When we are able to answer these questions, we might find that plants offer an important pollution control system for the 21st century.
Good questions. Those.
Yes, big question. How many plants? 3 plants or 300?
Yes.
Yeah. So, would you read that paragraph, please?
This seems like a good solution, but we don't know enough yet. There are many questions. For instance, which pollutants can plants remove? Which can't they remove? How many plants are necessary to clean the air in a room? 1 or 2 or a whole forest of plants? When we are able to answer these questions, we might find that plants offer an important pollution control system for the 21st century.
Good. All right. Rainbow, what do you think is the main idea in that paragraph? Just generally, Rainbow, it doesn't have to be a big thing.
We want to plant the tree. We need to plant the tree, more tree.
Yes, that we should use plants, but paragraph G tells us that there are questions. What questions does it tell us there are? What are the questions about plants? 2 big questions.
which can they remove?
Which pollutants do they remove? We don't know. And what else too, Rainbow?
How many plants are necessary to clean?
Exactly. How many plants do you need to have a room be clean? Yeah, we don't know. All right, any question with any of this?
Any kind of plant, teacher?
Apparently it says so. We can tell, which one does it say appears to be the best kind, Prab? Look, paragraph F, tell me.
Especially defoliated plants.
No, they didn't say especially defoliated. Which kind of plants do they say seem to do the best job?
Certain plants.
What kind?
Spider plants.
Yeah, spider plants. I don't either, Prab. I'm not sure what spider plants are.
What does it mean, spider plants?
I'm not sure, Prab. There must be a Thai name for it. A Thai name for spider plants.
Spider plants. Spider plants.
It's a certain kind of plant. I'm sure there's a Thai name for it.
Example, if they have to do the best job,
But I heard that the plants, when at night it will release the bad thing from the plants. Like
You heard that? Where did you hear it, Prab? Tell me.
someone say that, like a big plants.
That they release bad toxins at night? Very honestly, I don't know. But one thing, you're all very bright, you're very well educated. Don't ever say, I heard. You know, like I heard it on the corner. Where? Google it. Look it up. Find out. I should have Googled spider plants. I didn't. I will now. But don't ever say, if you heard, then look it up and find out for yourself. Because sometimes you hear wrong information. Now, by the way, seriously, if there may be certain plants that give off bad things at night, I really don't know. But I don't think that ordinary house plants that people use, that would be true. All right, now, this is an activity for reading. It's good though, class. The nuisance is you've got to count lines. But understanding pronoun reference. Okay. I'm sorry. Would you please read this part, understanding pronoun reference? 4, no, number 4. On page 37 at the top.
Understand pronoun different, look back at the brain selection. 6 building syndrome to find the meanings of the following pronoun. What does each pronoun refer to?
Okay, so these are, we know pronouns are I, you, he, she, we, they. But if you use a pronoun, it has to refer to some noun. So they're asking us to find which nouns they refer to. So the first one we'll do together, they. Paragraph A, line 4. All right? They went to doctors. On line 4 is they. They went to doctors for treatment of a number of symptoms, such as sore throats, tiredness, headaches, and respiratory breathing difficulties. Who are they? Somebody tell me.
Those sense of the
Teachers and students.
Exactly, it's teachers and students. So next to they, you fill in teachers and students. Okay, now please do the rest. The nuisances you've got to count down. The last one is line 73. So please fill those in now. Rainbow, clear? Okay. If it's not clear, I'll go over and explain.
Please explain more.
Sure. All right. We'll go to the second one. Let's go back to the first one. Let me go to your desk, Rainbow. Now, this is your picture, right? Please, can I take it back? Thank you. All right, now.
They paragraph A line 4. So it's easier if you, I had to have it 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. They want to adopt this. We have to go back and see what the same thing happened to dozens of teachers and students. That's who they is. So let's go to the next one. They, paragraph C, line 26, paragraph, these are so jarred, C, I've got March, I can tell you line 26 is. Okay. I already counted down, okay, so this is 26. They, paragraph C, twice, they, and they might smoke. Now you tell me who they are. Look, it's going to come before it. It's not going to be that far back, closer. They might smoke cigarettes, pipes, or cigars. They use chemicals for cleaning. Now tell me who they are. No, is they, one of the they, who are they? It's going to come before. Read this sentence here. There, they might smoke cigarettes. Who's they? Officer. They. Cut. Good one. I'm sorry. And then it's I'll show you this. They might smoke. It's the it usually ends on the sentence right. Do you see?
That might smoke.
Okay, see, people live there. They use chemicals to clean. The same thing, people live there. Give you a check.
Chemical for cleaning.
Just this. Very long. It's your sister. How does So I was epic.
Okay, well, we're finishing this class. It's 10 o'clock. So anybody who would like to take a 5-minute break or so, take it now, please. Ah, I see. Oh, what paragraph is that? Which paragraph is that? The subject is plants, the verb is can remove. Yeah, because it really means which pollutants plants can remove. Know what I mean? Yeah, that's, yeah, a complicated sentence.
Then